People have different perception for risk. For a car driver, not wearing the seat belt might be a risk. For a farmer, getting heavy rainfalls or less rainfall might be a risk. For a transportation company, rising fuel prices might be a risk. For a cold storage, intermittent power disruptions must be a risk. So each risk is different and each risk is unique. So you should not be comparing an investment risk with any of these risks, because you cannot compare investment risk with risk of not wearing a helmet. So each risk is unique, and you should not compare the risk of investment with the risk you encounter in day-to-day life. So what is the risk in investment? Risk in investment is deviation from expected returns. So you have an expected return, and whenever there is a deviation from that return, we say there is risk in the investment. So why there is no risk in fixed deposits? Because we already know the rate which the fixed deposit is offering. We have the expected return in mind, and we see that there is no changes happening in the expected return on either sides. There is no negative return, there is no positive return. We are getting the same return which is quoted in the fixed deposit document. So why there is risk in equity? Because we don't know in advance what we are going to get. Everybody has their own expectations. Each equity investor has his own expectation about the returns, and once he sees the returns which he actually gets is different from the expected return, he will say that there is risk in equity investments. And if one knows the returns in advance, we can say very well say that equity returns has no risk. So how to measure risk? In investments, we measure the risk using a term called standard deviation. Standard deviation, as the term says, it's the deviation from the mean. So how much deviation the returns have from the mean. It's a percentage. So whenever you see SD, means standard deviation is 2, that means the returns of that investment deviates from its mean by 2%. And this standard deviation is called the total risk in an investment. So what is the total risk made up of? This total risk is made up of two things. One is systemic and unsystemic risk. Systemic risk is one which affects the whole system. Let's say earthquake, inflation, such things affect the entire economy. Nobody can run away from that risk. Nobody can avoid the risk. Nobody can run away when there is an earthquake. So systemic risk is one which affects the whole system, but which we cannot diversify, we cannot avoid, we cannot run away, we cannot do away with it. And unsystemic risk is one which affects only a particular portion of the economy, a particular business or a particular place as such, which we can diversify. So systemic risk cannot be diversified, unsystemic risk can be diversified. These two risks together make up standard deviation, which is the total risk, and that is the risk in an investment. Thank you.